All right. Good morning, everybody. Studio NT, thank you for hosting. I haven't even started this stream, and you're already hosting. Also, what is this strange music? I don't know where it came from. Anyway, I hope you're doing great. Oh, maybe it's auto host. Doesn't matter. I hope you're doing well today. Got some sleep, got some tea. Sat down with breakfast. Yeah, I just had my. I don't really have much breakfast usually, but I think seems like today's topic will be kind of breakfast related somehow. I asked a few questions yesterday on Instagram to get some, prompts or some stylistic ideas, and we have some, something to work with, and I think I like drawing houses, so the house for today will be a bakery. And this is just an architecture book that I found laying around, and I was testing the camera focus on it. It's actually a really good book. It's called The Grammar of Architecture. I bought it. Good morning, Nervin. So yeah, this book is really nice. I bought it on Amazon for like 20 euro. It's used, but it has all the architectural styles from like start of human civilization, basically, like from ancient Egypt through all the like Islamic architecture, ancient Rome, Gothic, Renaissance, everything. And then there is like specific on different elements of architecture, not only styles, but also like domes and frames and arches and everything. Good morning, Solar Fun. So yeah, it's a good book. I haven't looked in it as much as I should have, as with most of the books. Hi, Schmelicopter. Welcome to the stream. We're drawing. I will write stuff down now so we don't remember. So today the topic in general is bakery, but smelly? Oh, smellicopter. But yesterday I asked on Instagram what it should be, and surprisingly, as you can see here, I was actually surprised that more people chose water over fire, because I think fire is more exciting usually for people. But anyway, so we have messiness level is high because people like messy stuff, and it should have water. So I'm thinking, what if your Pinterest board looks like ads? Yeah, exactly, Nervin. What if it's like a watermill bakery? It does look like ads, but what can we do? Maybe it's a bakery with windmill. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe something like this. Doesn't look like much. I guess I will just hide this window and we can focus on the rest. Didn't find any inspiring references, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get back to them later. Alright. They do their own milling flour thingy. Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking. Maybe it's like a little bakery with windmill. Maybe it's like a bakery on the island. There could be like a bridge leading to it, maybe some trees and stuff, maybe some like an extra house here, maybe some shed. And it could have like water all around it and be messy. So that's my idea for today. Don't know. What do you guys think? Let's draw a bakery. And I've last time I couldn't find the this piece of paper that I did, and now I found it again. The piece of paper that really helps with all kind of perspective drawings, that you can just like put underneath your sheet of paper and trace some of the lines. Wanted to show you, but forgot. Couldn't find it. It's just piece of A4 paper where I spent like 5 minutes drawing the lines, and now it's like a super tool. You don't even need to put it underneath. You can just say like, okay, here will be my horizon line, here will be my vanishing points, or you can move it like further and closer. It's a handy tool. But today I think most of my drawings are usually like horizontal, kind of like this 2-point perspective, but I've enjoyed also drawing the 3-point perspective when you're looking kind of from above, and then you have one more perspective point below, you know, where everything converges. So your house is suddenly like this kind of thing. I don't know, I think it's a pretty cool perspective point kind of to look at it. Could it also be on fire? Asks Helicopter. Well, we'll see. Since it's a bakery, you know, there is baking involved. I've seen your water drawings, but not a single one with fire. Fire is really tough for me to do in watercolor because it's too bright usually. But let's start sketching out maybe the general look of this thing. So I'm thinking I usually like to draw it from like a front or the side, so it's easy to draw. Basically, it's kind of Fire Nation. Is it a reference to Avatar: The Last Airbender? Okay, so I'm thinking we'll have some sort of like a house with an extra house with a little house on top, and maybe like let's look for baker window. Maybe I will turn this back on. So thinking about something like that. So it's actually quite crazy that it's a windmill on top of the house, but we will go with it. I will save this to our stream references. Right. I wish I could marry my couch, or bend couches. Marry a couch. Let's bend couches to get more couches. Would the couches be born like small couches, and then they would grow into larger couches? Maybe there is like a tent for sitting outside. I don't know, just kind of brainstorming here. Something like that, and then it should have big windows usually, as we established last time. Shops have big windows to show stuff. Maybe it will have kind of like an I don't know, is it called alcove? No, alcove is the opposite. Like a little part sticking out. Also, where does this music come from? Can't remember adding this stuff. Anyway, let's just ignore that for a second. Yeah, anyway, so we'll have like a windmill on top, and windmills have heads that turn with the wind, and bodies that don't turn with the wind. I guess something along these lines. Oh, that's not a watermill. You're right. Screw this idea. I mean, I like parts of it, but that's indeed not a watermill. We can make the house like extend backwards and then have an attached watermill behind it. So maybe it's like it needs to be near the water then. Okay, let's look for watermills. All right, this is our topic for today. A cute little, what even is it? Squirrel? A trash panda? Raccoon? No, it's like a gray squirrel. But anyway, I guess that's the idea. And maybe it's hanging over the bottom part a little bit, and then there is this. The bridge could lead from this side as well, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, don't know, something along these lines maybe. And it should be messy, as we established. There were two people who suggested less than average messiness, which is interesting. Yeah, I guess let's just get drawing and see where it gets. And as I mentioned, I want to do like a top-down view. Not really completely top-down. But what do you mean exactly by messy, asks Nervin. Well, I guess it will be just like a little bit falling apart. There should be a lot of vegetation growing and all this stuff. And what I have in mind in terms of perspective, I think it's like something like that. You know, you kind of like a bird's eye view. I think that would work well with that stuff. Watercolor splashes over. No, I'm kind of more thinking about the subject than the technique. So it's not really like a watercolor messiness, because watercolor messiness is inevitable. So there is that. Garbage around, cool sketches. You mean these ones, right? Like in the other book, these guys. I like them too. I like that they have only one color. It kind of helps them, I think. But to draw this kind of perspective, we need to move the horizon line really high, because we're looking from above. So let's say the horizon line will be maybe somewhere around here. I don't know, doesn't look like a bad place. Post those. Okay. I have them photographed, but I haven't posted them, of course, because I never post good stuff. Always keep it in the closet for some reason. but I have them pictured, so let's save this one. This one looks good. And yeah, if you want access to the stream references, you can type !refs, and then you'll get your references. Alright, so now we have kind of our, like, this will be our horizon line vertically, vertical line. Can I make requests? You certainly can, sure, Schmedicopter. What's your request, Smiley? I can't promise that I will fulfill the requests, but sure. And then let's use our amazing tool and say our horizon line maybe is like going further here. Kind of like there. And then we can say like, oh, this is how it all converges into horizon line. I mean, it doesn't have to be super accurate, but it does help a lot. I guess something like that should do. What kind of requests do you have, Schmelly? Then this side as well. And these kind of guides, you can already, like, you can see the general direction and then just like continue them to help yourself later. I know some people don't like all these guides and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, it does help me a lot, because I don't know, I guess I also try to do realistic drawings. That's why the perspective grid really helps, and also it helps with like learning the perspective, you know. Request number 1. Would be cool to see some kind of Asian architecture instead of traditional European. That's a good one. I always draw European, old European style houses. Probably because I just saw them more, but we can definitely look into Asian architecture as well. It has a lot of unique style, but also it's kind of easy to fall on the stereotypes, and to avoid that, research is what helps. I don't think this will be our bottom vanishing point. Probably it will be somewhere just down there, maybe. We'll just do the same for the vertical one. I guess if you're Scott Robertson, you don't need any grids and you can just draw perfect perspective from the first sketch. Oh, and second request for Schmedicopter was a map of an island with a nice landscape and towns, or of a village with little building thumbnails. That's also a good suggestion. Thanks, Schmele. I like those. We will definitely incorporate them. Map was also suggested by Nervan a few weeks ago, I guess, and it's a cool idea. I like it. I did a few maps before, but not on the stream. I think map can be also fun because you can like think through a lot of stuff there. Let's make it a little bit easier. Welcome to the boring part of the stream, where I draw lines on the paper for half an hour. Please stand by. Anyway, hello Pixel Props. How is it going? You're also having breakfast? Lines on paper is my favorite part of this stream. Yeah, if you think about it, that's kind of all we do here. True. So, thinking about this kind of structure, let's imagine it from the top. So it has the watermill part, obviously, which will be an ellipse, and I will hate my life when I will be drawing it in perspective. And then you have like your main house here. Let's say there is kind of like a yard or like an, I don't know, fancy entryway here. Maybe here is this not a balcony, but like a ground floor balcony, you know. There could be like a shed behind it, and what else? This is the tent from above, I guess. We can have the bridge here. Maybe the entrance is like right next to the bridge. Don't know. And what I'm doing is, when you're thinking from above, like the plan of the thing, then you can kind of lay it out on this grid here and construct from the floor. That way you don't really over expand your image. Pixel Prop says it is going fine. No, breakfast is done. Starting to paint some minis. Which minis are you working on? Is it for like a personal project or a hobby? I've seen some of your paintings on Instagram. Some pretty cool little guys. But I don't know what is it for, if like you're running a game or what's going on with those. All right, let's say our bottom part of the watermill will be here. Like this is this base kind of. For a client, Pixel Prop says a team for Blood Bowl fantasy football. Oh wow, sounds exciting. Blood Bowl fantasy football. Sounds also quite gruesome. Let's say this will be our first floor. I think I moved the vanishing point at the bottom kind of too close, so it will be really distorted, but so what? It's quite a violent football game. Yeah, it sounds like a Blood Bowl. Fantasy football. Never heard of it, but I only heard of very small number of tabletop RPGs and all that sort of stuff. So now this monstrosity, the watermill itself. I think the easier way to draw circles in perspective is the notion that a circle can fit in a square, and the center of the circle will be in the center of the square, and the sides of the circle will touch the middle part of the sides of the square. Is it like an American football or more like soccer? Asks Nervin. This is more a miniature war game than tabletop in some ways. It is based around the older version of Warhammer, kind of like American football. Interesting. So it's kind of like a war game, but instead of like trying to kill each other, you try to score goals. And kill each other, or at least knock out. Oh, it's about scoring goals and killing. So it's both fun and and violent. Well, I think football used to be violent anyway. Like if you think about the origins of football, is it from that Mayan game that when the winners get like basically a death sentence? Like if I think in Mayan kind of culture, they had this game where there was a ball, kind of like more like a basketball. There was a like a rubber or I think leather ball and a ring made out of stone, and then you had to use your elbows and knees, I think, only to score the ball. So that was, and then the winning team gets to be sacrificed, I think, or the losing team. I can't really remember that detail. One of the teams gets sacrificed. That's as much as I remember. And it seems like with Mayan culture, it's normal. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm trying to construct the cube because it's easier to construct in perspective. To construct the cube in order to put the windmill wheel in there. And these distortions don't help really. I thought it was something like LARP. Oh, yeah, seems like it's only it's all happening on the table. Let's try another one of those, find the center point, and then from this center we can also extend it to the other vanishing point. So basically here will be our wheel, which will be kind of like this, I guess. And as far as I remember, the segments of this circle, they kind of mirror each other diagonally. So this curve should be the same as this curve, just in the opposite direction, and the same with these two. And then you draw the same one kind of on the other side, and then you connect them. Kind of like that, I guess. Looks sort of like a wheel. Small 28mm models. This is like an inch. This is a very small model. How many details can you paint in? Or do you just paint like the general color of the uniform and all that stuff? Sorry, I keep asking questions whereas you said that you want to go paint some minis. Let's put the roof on this house. And then this one will be really close to the horizon line, kind of like this, I guess. It's kind of going sideways there a little bit, but that's one of the requirements. It should be messy, so if it doesn't match stuff much, then that's what it is. I think I will make one of the roofs kind of bigger than the other, just because I can. A little more than just one color in each place, but not over the top crazy for these models. You can do it very detailed. I always struggle with the tiny things. You know, that's one of my main kind of concerns. How can you, like, what's the size of your brush? I think the smallest brush I have is probably a 1, and I can't imagine painting a miniature with it, because I mean, I guess you can put the base color with it, but what about all the little details? And let's put this one a little bit back, so there is a room for the roof. Something like this, I guess. Yeah, that I like this one more. And let's extend the roof behind as well. All right, this is messy as asked for. Asian architecture. Maybe behind there is like a little something, maybe like a shed. Don't know. And also we need water, right? Should go in the water. Yeah, so this will be the level of water, I guess. And this will be the coast. We need also a chimney of some sorts, maybe like a big chimney, because it's a bakery after all. We need some windows on the front. Something like these, I guess. Maybe there is like a little, well, yeah, we need a bridge that will go somewhere around here. We need some sort of, I don't know, it could be just like boxes and barrels, but maybe it could be something more interesting. I usually just add a lot of boxes and barrels if I don't know what to add, and sometimes when you're finalizing and like inking the sketch, that's when you kind of come up with ideas. Oh, I actually can add, I don't know, a cart there, or instead of a barrel there can be a big bag with flour or whatnot. Hey, mosques. Hey, mosque. Good morning. 3-point perspective. Yeah, we have left, right, and bottom three perspectives. It was here, the sketch, but it's now gone. Maybe there is like kind of crane sticking out from above, because often they need to lift, you know, different goods and like bags of stuff in and out of the attic. There's like a crane thingy there, I guess. You can add flowers and shrubs. Yeah, flowers and shrubs I can add, but the request was to make it messy, so I guess we'll have to destroy some parts of the house. Maybe the back part is like a big balcony. It doesn't make it more messy, but you know. And bushes. Dead flowers. Dead flowers I can add. Just trying to make sense of this bridge. I guess this it's kind of awkward because every pole on this bridge will go in different direction. Just because of this 3-point perspective. But it kind of makes sense, I think. We can add like a little fence here, maybe. Maybe the fence goes this way as well, just to the house. The fence can be also messy. Or a big overgrown, the big overgrown tree can be like behind it, looming. Maybe it's looming into the water as well. Something like this. Almost growing in, oh, almost growing into the house. Yeah, that could be cool. Maybe it's like the problem is that I have water in front of it, and maybe it's kind of going here from the side a little bit, like this, kind of growing into, I don't know. Let's see. Or you know, you have these, and Nervin says, you know, I have these dandelions near your house that are already done blooming. Oh, those, the lollipops or whatever they're, dandelions, yeah, the lollipop flower, right? That looks like a white fluffy lollipop. Or a torn up book in front. Torn fence is a good idea. We need some sort of, maybe like a lighting here. Let's say there is just like a big lamp there. And the fence, yeah, the fence can be broken a little bit here and there. There can be, maybe there is this poles with, what is it called, like a shade sticking out here. Could be like a very low hanging cloth here. Maybe there are like some decorations hanging from the house onto the pole or something like that. I put a picture of one of the model in my Discord. Let's see. Oh no, that's not an announcement. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I really like the shading and the like the griminess in these little crevices everywhere. Looks like a Roman legionnaire football player. So I think that's the that's the goal, right? Those brushes though, they're tiny. How can you even use them? It's incredible. Like you can count the amount of hair on that brush, like the number of individual little hairs. This music again. Can we stop with this, please? I will have to remove it. Wait a second. Just so we don't get it back. Sorry. Yeah, the super small one is for the eyes and super small stuff, and the largest one of them is the one I use most. The largest one is the smallest one I have, I think. Alright, we're almost done deleting this album from the playlist. Why did I even add it? Nobody asked me to do that. Alright, I think we have good enough sketch. Maybe it's time for inking. That's usually the most fun process. Or maybe watercoloring. I'm always kind of wondering if I should do one wash first and then do the inking and then do another washes, but can never find a good reason for that. This one is also really cool. Let's save this. Alright, inking. I think I will make this bridge stone bridge. I think it will work better here. But what I will add, I think I don't like that the roof is so kind of empty, and I don't want to make a whole texture in it, so I will kind of just extrude one part of this roof, you know, kind of like that. You know, sometimes you have these little openings in the roof. Something like that. I think it usually helps to break the boringness of the roof a little bit, at least in my head. Watching you use perspective grids and then do the sketching and painted is teaching and inspiring me so much. Thanks, Studio NT. That's lovely to hear. I'm here to help. That's kind of my, I think, general idea that a lot of times we don't do things because we don't know how to start, or we put too much weight on it. And I heard it a lot with drawing, like a lot of times people say like, yeah, I don't know how to draw, I can't draw, I suck at drawing and everything. And yeah, it can be true, and it depends on how you feel, of course, and what level you want to achieve. But in general, it's usually easier than people think, and it often comes from some anxieties and all that stuff. So it really makes me happy to know that when like I can draw something and people will understand how it's made, and maybe it will ease them into also drawing, because I do think that art is one of the best methods to kind of keep yourself sane and let stuff that is bothering you out. I guess it's kind of like meditative process. And as long as people can follow and understand the basics, then like it's like with these grids, you can lay out the grid, it helps you tremendously, and then it just makes it just kind of all comes together, and it's not like you're creating a, I don't know, a new art style or something or whatnot. It's just little doodles here and there. I think Hawks is still asleep, otherwise I know he would love to be here watching the stream. We were out on a little road trip yesterday and talked about how your stream is so chill, nice and educational. Hey, thanks Studio NT. Yeah, Hawks probably is still sleeping, although it's Sunday. Where did you go on the road trip yesterday? I used to do street sketch Saturdays on Saturdays, logically, when I would go into like I don't know, into a park or just museum or a cafe or whatnot, like something really simple, doesn't have to be something special, and then just draw whatever I see. Yeah, sometimes it's an interior of a cafe, sometimes it's more like a I don't know, a street sketch of the houses and all that stuff. And it always kept me learning a lot of stuff. Now Studio NT is sane. That's the problem with art. It doesn't make you sane, it keeps you sane. So as soon as you stop, you become insane again. Never stop. I think I will add a little tables here. I think I'm bad at drawing messiness. It's not messy enough. Although wait until I get to watercolors, that's when the messiness will show itself. Studio NT says, we went around the countryside of our town and the towns close by looking for clay and rocks to use for pigments. Oh, I saw your posts on Instagram about pigments. And I actually, thanks for reminding, I really wanted to ask you like how you have, seems like you have a little bit of experience with it, at least. I don't know how much, but I gathered some clay on other trips. I can even show you. It's not really clay. It's think this, maybe it is clay, I don't know, is this like ochre sand? You know, like this stuff. And I wanted to make watercolors out of it, but still haven't. And I bought gum arabic because that's, I heard, is what you need. I know, right? It's such a great color, but I never got to the watercoloring part of it. Are you making oil paints or watercolors? Kinda don't really know the process of pigment making, so treat me as a complete noob in this. Was that the exact color we're looking for or what? Yeah, it's pretty nice color, I must say. Now my whole page will be messy, but I'll keep this just as a reference. Musk says, I do not like to draw a triangular roof. You mean this part of it or this part of it? Like the front? Both. You, you don't like how it looks, or you just don't like drawing it? I mean, it's kind of the most basic roof you can think of. You're right. Hi Hawks, yeah, welcome to the stream. We were just talking about you. Funny enough, we won't see the top of the chimney because it's above the horizon line. And I have I have this thing everywhere now. Why did I do this to myself? Okay, I will put it here. I think this specific ochre was found, I think it was last year when I was in France, if I'm not mistaken. There are these like famous ochre mines, or there used to be, and then I just gathered a little bit of sand there. I just got my butt planted in front of the computer, so I got right in. Perfect. Did you already have your morning coffee? All that stuff? Tea? I think the front can be also messy, right? We have maximum messiness levels requested by Instagram followers, so kinda have to follow it up. I think I overdid a little bit on this side because it will be underwater, but no one will ever notice that. Studio in Thesis. It is watercolors that I want to do. Great, me too. Let's see. But yeah, I don't have that much experience with making paints yet, but I have been following a bunch of paint makers on Instagram and reading up on it for some weeks now, so I have a bunch of information loaded in my head. I don't have the gum arabic yet. I'm saving up some money to buy it, so until then I'm just gathering things that I can use for pigments. I see. Yeah, I just bought like a little bottle of gum arabic because I just wanted to experiment with it, but kind of haven't gotten to it yet. It's not like I don't really want to produce my own watercolors, but I always wanted to, you know, like make color out of nothing and then see if it's nice. So it's kind of more like a playful as well approach. I'm taking a very playful approach to the whole process where I test things and then see if they work or not. Yeah, I think that's a good approach to this kind of stuff. I'm curious what you will find working out and whatnot, and it always kind of mesmerized me that you can just take dirt and make art with it. You know, kind of funny. Huck says, I'm kind of doing the morning routine right now. Oh, wait, that made it sound like I'm in the bathroom a little bit. Having some kind of brunch. That's a good way to start your day. Brunch. Just a little messy front here. What is gum Arabic? Ask Schmilikopter. I will show you. It's this substance, and as far as I know, it's like a binder for the pigment. So basically, you mix this stuff with the pigment that you grind, and supposedly it becomes watercolor when you add like honey in it or something. I don't know. Try to see if you can do it by yourself. That magic little spark you used to have when you were a kid and discovering things, that is what I'm experiencing now with it. Yeah, this is great. Like, this is what nature can give us, I think. I'm talking more than drawing. Let's get back to it. Yeah, as a water-soluble gum resin from the acacia tree, I think, that is used as a binder to make watercolor paint. Yeah, that's what I also heard, but I kind of don't know why specifically that, but I guess because it's water soluble. Cool. Why don't you try it with that nice colored clay? It's a solid question, Schmelikopter. I don't know, because I'm just procrastinating everything. But eventually I will try it because it's interesting. I'm just kind of overthinking that, I think, in a way, because I think like, oh, maybe I need something else. Maybe I need some more, I don't know, some stuff, like other stuff that they add in watercolors. But nothing stops me from just trying to use what I have and seeing how it works out. Requesting a watercolors crafting stream. Nervous, he's talking about it since over a year. Well, yeah, I got this. I got this little piece of, a box of clay last January when I was on the trip, and since then it's just laying around. And I bought gummy Arabic, I think 3 weeks ago. So you know, it's getting there. really, really slowly, but don't know. Eventually we'll get there. A watercolor crafting stream. It will be such a mess, I bet. But we can do a watercolor crafting stream. Why not? Oh jeez. Okay, proper sketchbook. I hereby challenge you to make paint. Alright, I guess challenge accepted, Studio NT. Now I will have to make paint. Thanks. I'll share my research and found recipes and tutorials with you if you want. That would be really helpful. If you have some, I don't really like want you to spend a whole bunch of time on that, but if you have like one or two, maybe the best ones that you found so far and that don't overcomplicate things, because you know I can overcomplicate things myself. Thank you very much. That would be great. If you can send the link to Discord, that would be perfect. Then others can also take a look there and maybe follow it up. Nervin says, remember when you were in France and immediately when we had a call there, you said, oh Nervin, so excited, I collected that ochre, when I come back let's do watercolors with it. Yep, that's exactly how it went. And I'm still standing by my words. I removed this line here because it was kind of like in the way of the view of the people who look at it, of the viewers. I used to mix different colored water from my grandmother. I used to mix different colored water from my grandmother's flowers as a child. I get the excitement, says Schmelikopter. What do you mean different colored water from my grandmother? Did you crush her flowers to make to make watercolors as a child? What what happened there? Yes, says Schmelikopter. What did your grandmother said to that? Was she supporting in this endeavor? Like, oh, my granddaughter is experimenting, or was she like, oh, my flowers? No, stupid children. I can overcomplicate things myself. Oh god, I felt that. Yeah. Haven't we all, Hawks? Haven't we all? But I got a collection of little bottles with different colors. I bet it looked really cool. I can imagine just a collection of little bottles with little different colors. Must be really pretty. Just adding windows everywhere. She was infurious. What is infurious? Is it like furious but more? Student, he says, most paint makers use a muller and a glass slab to mull or grind the pigments together with the binder, and I think that is kind of necessary if you want to make lots of paint, but I'm thinking that if you just want to test it out, you should be able to use just normal mortar and pestle. I'm not sure though. That's kind of what I'm thinking about as well. Like, I don't really want to buy equipment specifically for making watercolors because I probably won't be making them that much, but I have a bunch of different sands and dirts, so I probably will also use just pestle and mortar, because actually I specifically bought it. I bought it for spices, but also with watercolor in mind. like a potion shop. Yeah, that probably looked awesome. I can imagine how excited you were about that. Infurious, maybe it is a word. I just only know furious, but also there is famous and infamous. So maybe there is furious and infurious. Okay, we need to make it more messy. Let's just add more boxes and barrels. I think that should do the thing. Trying loosely to keep with the grid, but I'm kind of losing track of it, which is fine at this stage. It doesn't matter that much, but because these are just little details, of course it would be better if they were perfect, but they can also work like that, I think. I guess not. Infuriated is a word. Should be just furious. Yeah, it could be infuriated or furious. I guess that's these are the two options. But I like infurious. It kind of has more oomph. Studio NT has a glass slab that is an old shelf. Oh, that's clever. And then I have some marble candle holders that I'm gonna try to use as a muller. That's really clever. I like that. I will look around for some glass. Maybe I have some also old shelf or something like that. Don't think so though, but infuriated, yeah. This one. And marble candle holders. Don't know if I have those. Let's just add some more random construction lines here for the house, just to make it more messy, I guess. Does it help with messiness? I feel like it does. I also like when the connections within the house kind of structure are not really like not straight, but you know, this curved a little bit. Don't encourage him to go to hoard more. Schmelicopter says, time to go. Have a nice rest of the stream. Hey, thanks Schmelicopter for joining in. You know everything about posting if you draw something along and all that stuff. So I won't stop you. Thanks for stopping by. With these kind of big textures, I think there are two approaches. You either I know everything about posting. With this kind of big places where you need to put a lot of details, I think there are usually two approaches, and I can't really nail either of them yet, but I'm working on both of them anyway. One is just to draw basically the whole texture, like all the details, every little tile on the roof, and often enough it does look really cool because of just how many details there are. But on the other hand, sometimes it's just too much, and also it takes quite some time to have it done. So the other method is just to indicate the material, kind of, like with this, what I'm trying to do with this bridge. It's a stone bridge. I don't want to draw each stone, but I want to draw enough so it's kind of understandable that it's a stone bridge. You know what I mean? But there you kind of have to be careful with not overdoing it, because if you don't know the limits there, then kind of can bite you in your butt. And also it's important to keep it on the surface, which is sometimes tough, but as long as you keep, like these lines aligned with the other construction lines, it should make more sense, I guess. And what I also like to do is to thicken the line that separates objects, like when two objects overlap. For instance, this fence here is overlapping the bridge itself, so I will just darken this part because it's overlapping, and it kind of makes it more readable, I think, the whole thing. Still want to add those curved shapes somewhere. Maybe just here. A little tangent here, but can't escape them all, kind of. Good morning, Nimla. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're drawing here the bakery windmill, watermill, with some requests from Instagram, mainly messiness and water. Hogs, wanna go on a road trip down in Europe and gather pigments sometime? Then we have plans for future and tea. Yeah, it's, if you want some good pigments, I think Mediterranean should be a really good spot to look for it. Because, I don't know, I guess just because of the climate, there are a lot of these ochre mines and like these brown yellowish dirts. Oh yeah, I voted for fire. Yeah, it's you're as surprised as I am. There are much more people voted for water, even though I would expect it to be the opposite. Like, I would think people like fire more because it's more exciting usually. That's why, in the tales you have fire breathing dragons, not water breathing. Because then just, what kind of dragon is that? It just makes you wet and that's it. Water is calm. I need calmness in these times, I think. Yeah, calmness is good. It's better than chaos. When there is enough chaos on the media and all that stuff. Just trying to indicate this tiled texture, but it's really easy to overdo it, so I'm kind of taking a look every time if some places look too crowded or undercrowded. Water breathing. I want to see that. It's Tsunami Dragon. Now we're talking. So speaking of calm water, yeah, tsunamis. There are fairy tales of monsters in water though that drowns you and or eats you. Yeah, there are a lot of these, you know, like drowners or other kind of creatures that supposed to, like, I don't know, the souls of sailors long drowned. But in general, nobody's breathing water in those tales. Like, I think water in general is also kind of mysterious. Oh, mosque started. Yeah, if you guys want to share something, you can either share it on Telegram or Discord. Let's put the links here. And Mosque has started with the pencil that I gifted him, constructing the house, and it's actually looking pretty cool. I think it's a solid start. It just needs some details later. Good job, man. A really solid sketch there. Let's add some of these leaves and overgrowth, I guess. There should be some things that hold this wheel together though. Kinda winging it here, but I think it looks believable enough for my purposes. Oh, what is Telegram? I've not heard about it before. Really? It's yeah, it's like WhatsApp but much better and, I don't know, better organized. Basically, it was developed by a Russian developer who was he basically, it's the guy who created like a Russian social network called Vkontakte, which is sort of like a Facebook clone but much better as well. And then he got in trouble with the government and was kind of forced to sell his company. And then he fled the country and started a new company. And then he created Telegram, which is like really secure way of messaging. And like one of his main ideas was to give voice to people rather than to like companies and governments. So it's open source, it's encrypted and everything, and you can create channels there, which is great. And you can also have calls, and this year they will introduce video calls there. And I don't know, like, I'm a user experience designer by day and artist by night, and from the UX point of view, it's so much better than WhatsApp and I don't know, Skype and whatnot. So I mean, if you don't have any friends there who use Telegram, then I think it doesn't make sense to switch to it. But I think in general it's a lot of people use it, and especially in the countries where people have problems with governments, like Iran or Russia. That's where Telegram kind of blooms, because it's not under any control and kind of safe to use. I know about Facebook Messenger and Discord and Snapchat and Instagram. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff nowadays. But WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram is the same company. And I don't know, I kind of don't really like when Facebook has so much control over all my communications and everything I do, because it all does feed into the same kind of ads and system, and I don't know, just fell out of love with Facebook a long time ago. So weird, kind of. Although I do have some friends there, so I do have to check it once in a while, but haven't done it for a few months now. Gonna look into the Telegram thing. It seems very neat. Yeah, it is very neat. Like, you can, they have a lot of these little nice things, you know, like stickers that you can send, animated stickers. You can create your own sticker sets there quite easily as well. You can schedule messages to be sent in the future, so you can, you know, like, if you don't want to wake someone up, or if you don't want to forget, you can send the message to yourself. You can save messages. The best thing are those stickers, super adorable. Yeah, some of those stickers are really cute. You can also have like secret chats if you want it to be deleted after everybody leaves. You can have calls. I think Telegram should hire me as their spokesperson. I'm kind of usually having troubles with drawing trees, because they always look kinda weird to me. Like, I don't know how much leaves to add, how to like add those volumes. I kinda like how they look, but there is something missing, I think. Or you can send exploding pictures. If you send nudes, they self-destroy after a while. Yeah, you can set messages to self-destruct. That's also fun. What else can you do there? But my kind of favorite part is this, that you can set it up for yourself very much. Like, you can basically use it for reminders. You can store your, you know, like I usually do, since I have a multiple, like a big number of devices that I have to deal with. Like, you know, you have a phone, you have a tablet, you have a computer, and sometimes you want to share the picture, but it's, I don't know, you have a PC, so it doesn't have AirDrop or something like that. So it's kind of easy to send the picture to your saved messages on Telegram, and then you have it kind of everywhere. So you can do it, you know, like with tickets and stuff. Let's make this like a tiled pattern as well. Link everything don't work. This is a private page in Instagram. Please contact the page owner to invite you to collaborate. Oh, that's not good. Why is everything not public? Ah, okay. Should be public now. Yeah. Can you try it again, Musk? Sorry for that. Maybe there are like a few stones here in the base of this house, just to keep it together, I guess. Thanks for the notice, Musk. Didn't notice that one. Is it messy enough? Nervin, you are the expert on messiness. Maybe you can see the floor of this creek. Let's add some water lines, I guess, here. So what else can we add here? Maybe we can add some loaves of bread, but don't have any other ideas kind of to add to this. Alright, I thought you're the messy part of our relationship. Yeah, maybe, but you like making messes. I think it needs more messiness, like a broken roof, something on the floor in front, maybe a kicked over barrel. Okay. Yeah, it can have more stuff here, I guess you're right. There is a kicked over barrel. What else? There could be broken piece of maybe a cart, like on the side. Not sure. So far it looks neatly organized. Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to break the roof. Maybe there are some clothes hanging here. Some pants. Maybe another crate, like laying on kind of on the in the middle of the ground here. Maybe a stone pile. A pile of stones can be added easily. Like maybe it's just piling here next to the pillar just to support it, kind of. I kicked over flour sack. Yeah, maybe one of the sacks of flour is just spilling out here. Maybe some just sticks laying around. There's a sudden bush. I'd say more big sacks bags. Big bags. Maybe like here. Maybe there are huge bags of flour there. Something like that. And then there could be like a broken cart. With one wheel and one laying next to it. How about this teamwork? This sack does a lot to add to the messiness. Could be like a broken, or maybe not broken, maybe it's just this broom, or how do you call it, like a big fork for leaves, you know, to clean in fall, in autumn. That's not really a broom, but I think you get what I mean. Just some stones in the water. A rake. A rake. There is kind of not that much space left, I think. All right, I think this is good for now. We can do some watercolors, but before that, let's take a 5-minute break to get some tea. What do you say? Or maybe just 3-minute break and then watercoloring to get some watercolor water and all that stuff. Tea time. All right, then I'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, the nature birds. Thank you for following. I'm in awe of these inking skills. Thanks. It's actually quite messy, but thank you. How are you doing today? Do you also draw? Do you have an Instagram to share? Let's start cleaning this up for some watercolor effects. Always looks so clean when you remove all the dirt. Which is, if you think a bit, is the definition of clean. So shouldn't be that surprising. Alright, let's, I guess, do the classic, spray a little bit of water on it. Try not to spray on the laptop, but let's see. It was a very quick break. Okay, let's get this stuff organized. Let's put our main character here. He is also in awe. Let's get our palette. Let's get rid of this dirt that one day will become watercolor, probably. I also want to spray into the palette because otherwise the watercolors are dry. And as always with watercolors, it's kind of better to start with the light stuff, which probably in this case will be maybe water. Yeah, probably. I will add I usually just add flat colors first and then go over with indigo blue for all the shadows and all that stuff. So it's just a very kind of rough coat of paint. now I have this ochre sand everywhere. Damn it. It's okay, it's gonna be a sandy picture. Just some base colors, I guess. Flat colors, how are they called? Some green, I guess, also good for this tree here. It's not only a tree though, it's also this vine thingy. And even if I'm doing one layer, or like when I'm doing one layer, I'm always trying to pick new color every time a little bit. I mean, I'm using the same color here, but sometimes I would add, you know, like a tiny bit of yellow for this part, and then a tiny bit more blue for the next part, and I don't know if it adds anything, but that's my definition of painterly approach. Just add random colors. I guess there will be some grass here as well. Maybe even a little bit here. And it kind of doesn't matter if it's all messy, because this is just the first layer. Will get better later. This is kind of just to separate objects, I guess, in these color spaces. Now I also have tea. Great. I got myself an Earl Grey with milk. What kind of tea did you get? But the question still stands, you know, what kind of roof and the sides do we do? Is it something like this maybe? With orange roof and white and brown walls? Or should we come up with something weird? I have this new watercolor. Damn it, again. I think it's Matters Lake red. Let's get this one out. Come on. Come on, buddy. Get out of there. Oh no, it's light red. It's light red, and it's actually quite perfect for the roofing. Like if you want tiled roof, this light red color is just kind of not really all you need, but most you need. I got one of the, Nervin says I got one of the teas we bought in Tuscany. I think it is rose and orange something, not really sure, but something fruity. That sounds like your kind of tea. And then if you add some olive green to this light red, you get this extra nice warm red terracotta roof color. It's weird that you can, like, you know, when if you study design, you like learn about red and yellow red and green being kind of opposite colors, and that you shouldn't like mix them and all that stuff, but I think it actually depends. Like as a rule of thumb, I guess yes, it brings you kind of dirty colors, but sometimes that's exactly what you need. I got a chocolate pu'er now. I got it as a gift from a friend. How do you brew pu'er? Aren't you supposed to like boil it, or do you just, is it like bagged, or is it loose leaf pu'er? I think I will add some more blue on this side to make it darker. Doesn't taste much chocolate, but it gives a richer flavor, I think. Yeah, puer is really hard to overpower. Like usually puer with something tastes like puer because puer itself is such a strong flavor. Okay, now the house itself is probably gonna be maybe a little bit like ochreish in some parts, but in general I think I would keep it whitish. Maybe just a light coat of yellowish sometimes. Maybe like it should be the color of the light basically. So if the light is sun, then it will be yellow. If the light source is the sky, then it's gonna be blue. Easy as that. And also that goes to this bottom part, I think. And he says this is bags, and I just put the bag in my mug, pour water over it, and let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, that's another way to make puer, I guess. I've heard that like you're supposed to cook it in milk originally or something like that. You boil puer with milk for 10 minutes and then you drink it. Don't know. Don't think I have tried that ever. Let's put this also to stream references, I guess. Oh, it's already there. Okay. That's also a really cool one. This one looks like a real house, not like a model. Watermills are so cool. Nervin says I once had a chocolate chai, which was quite nice but strong. Chai. Just adding a little bit of different colors every time to make it more alive, I guess. And I kind of don't care if it spills around on other colors. Lately, this has been my approach, just roll with it, you know. I thought you're not supposed to boil real tea like green tea because it gets very bitter. Probably not. I don't know actually for sure, but about puer, I'm just saying what I've heard somewhere, that you know, like you boil puer. I mean, it's fermented tea, so I guess maybe it can't get more bitter than it is, you know. Or maybe because you're boiling it with milk, it gets better. Who knows? I'm mixing a little bit of red into my what is it? Sepia? Yeah. Just to have this nice reddish tint to my wood. You can also add olive green, like warm greens to there. Also works well. Pixel Prop says 74 to 85 degrees Celsius for green, black around 95. Yeah, sounds about right to me. But is pour black? Or otherwise, anyway you like it, of course. Yeah, I made the milk, maybe the milk reacts with those bitter chemicals in it. Yeah, it could be. Don't know, maybe somebody who told me that was just making stuff up to make pour sound more exciting or something. Can't remember where that was and who was that person. I wonder if this will turn out to be just a brown mess at the end. Because there are so many wooden parts. I think I should cover the rest a little bit more before going into details. Those are the proper temperatures, but as always it would be down to personal preference. It says Pixel Props, drink it like you like it. Yeah, true, but you know, in every, like, I think that applies to everything, you know. In general, you should make your own decisions, you know, if you, and kind of do stuff the way you like it. Doesn't matter what, if it's like smoking cigars or drinking tea or choosing wine or whatnot. Like, you know, there will be people who will say you can't drink sweet wine because it's just shit, and you can only drink like the real wine is blah. But you know, at the end of the day, it just depends on your personal preferences. But with this said, there are some, you know, traditional methods that people who invented the drink or people who made the drink the way it is right now used to do it, or like how it came to be. And I think this is also, like, it doesn't mean that it's the rule how you're supposed to do it, but Nervan says, I really like this painting sketch so far. It looks very interesting and detailed. Thank you, darling. That's, I feel like this sketch has been a team effort with all the ideas coming from you guys as well. Mosk says, Urr. Whatever that means. Can you elaborate a little bit? What does the or supposed to mean? Yes, all those ideas combined together. But it's also kind of when you, I think when you're painting and changing the color every time a little bit, you should be careful not to how would I put it? Basically, if you have two objects that have two slightly different colors, like one completely, you know, a little bit more red and the other maybe completely a little bit more I don't know, yellow or green or whatnot, but both brownish. If the colors themselves are like if the objects themselves are subtly different in color, then usually it looks weird. Like it looks like they're separate objects, as if you wanted to separate them. So I think when you're changing the color, you kind of need to change it within one object and then within another one. So it kind of, don't know if it makes sense, but so it doesn't separate the objects but makes the overall look more painterly, more sketchy, I guess. Which direction does the water flow? Oh, Musk was subtitling the scooter that passed by the window. I see. Solar Fun asks, which direction does the water flow? I think it flows that way. Like that way. Because of these little squiggly lines. Oh shit. Those squiggly lines near the stones, you know. I think, maybe. Sammy, the chocolate queen, welcome to the stream, and thank you. This looks amazing, she says. How are you doing? We have this bakery next to the watermill next to the creek. That's what I've been up to this morning. Good, and you? Yeah, also good. This stream so far has been fun. We are coming up with stuff together, kind of talking about making watercolors and painting miniatures and different sorts of tea and all that stuff. So it's been quite good. Do you also do art? Do you want to share it with everybody? Feel free, if you do anything, just drop your Instagram link in chat and let people know that you also do some nice stuff so they can follow you. I do photography, but haven't really uploaded anything lately. Photography. What kind of photography do you do? Landscape or portrait or experimental stuff? Macro. Ooh, those are usually really pretty. More like I have I know a guy who's doing macro photography with different bugs and all that kind of stuff. He is a biologist himself, and he is doing these like calendars with bugs. They're like macro pictures of different like butterflies and all that kind of stuff. 2 tarantula shootings last year. How did it go? Since you're still here, it seems like you're safe. Studio and T says, I've been grinding down some hematite bead while watching. Started it yesterday. I saw you started it yesterday on Instagram, and I think I soon have it down to an okay size for the pigments. Good luck with that. Sounds a bit tedious, but you're almost there. Just keep on grinding. Sammy says, they did well. The tarantulas are really good models. only one escaped. Uh, so it sounds like fun though. Only 1 out of 2 tarantulas escaped. Have you ever done anything like that you were scared of taking pictures of? I mean, I know some people have fears of spiders, but you, I think, don't have it because you took pictures of tarantulas. But have you ever like took a picture of something you're afraid of? Here is a shot. Let's see. How do I open it though? I think I need to turn off this thing. Turn this one off, and then here I'll just open this link. Oh, I can actually keep sharing this thing, doesn't matter. Ooh, this is super macro. This is so close. He has such a tiny little face there. Counting down a large turquoise bead took at least like 4 hours or something. Jesus. Hey guys, go check out Sam the Chocolate Queen's Instagram. Those pictures are really good. All animals and stuff. Cool. Really good stuff. Nice photos. I love the owl shots and the cats. I'm crazy cat lady anyway. Yeah, that's true. I'm very scared of spiders, so I won't look, but I bet the photos are beautiful. There are also different pictures there, not only spiders. I mean, those two pictures are spiders, but I saw a bear there and an owl. Let's add some, some definition here. I guess this is too early for shading because I still have some unfinished pieces here and there. Here is a turtle. Oh, with a turtle you're straight up the right way. Whoa, it's partially in the water. Really cool effect with a head sticking out. Nice job with those photos. Do you do it professionally for magazines, or is it just like a hobby? That is cool, says Student. It took like 10 minutes to get the turtles there. They always swim away. Just hobby. Cool, looking good. Those models. I think bear is my favorite one, but probably just because it's bear. I don't know, it looks adorable. But I wonder, like, from the photographer's point of view, like I guess you have your own understanding of which pictures are great and which pictures are not so great, obviously. But I wonder how much it like resonates with people on Instagram. Like if you post the picture that you think is great, and then it doesn't get much attention because I don't know, people want cute stuff or creepy stuff. Do you have that experience? Spiders are really good. They sit and don't bother. Perfect models. Unless they escape. It depends, because many other photographers look for the pro look. Yeah, I guess you're right. It depends on your audience. I just edit the way I like. It's my Insta, so I need to like. True, that's a good thing to keep in mind. You know, at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy your Instagram, then why bother? And even if you want to do it professionally, you know, if you post stuff you're not happy about, then you might get the accounts or the clients that will want stuff that you won't be happy about because they saw the stuff that you produce. And many animal fans don't look at the photo but the model, and tarantula fans usually like them a lot because not many photographers do that. Yeah, it looks like it really depends on the audience. Interesting. I would like instinctively I would assume that, you know, if you post a photo of a cat or a bird or something like that, it will get more likes or more reach or attention than a picture of a tarantula. But I guess most people who are into tarantulas, they maybe are following the hashtag tarantula, so they will find it more likely than other people. But there are so many kittens on Insta. Yeah, it's a hard, tough market to compete in. The market of cat photography. Maybe there is a little yellow patch there as well. But tarantula are more niche. But there is a good community around. It. Yeah, I think so too, Nervin. It seems more niche, but like usually niche communities are more passionate about the subject than the mainstream. Like it's a small group of people, but they're, you know, the tarantula hardcore fans. And the feedback, Samuel says, yeah, and the feedback I got from the owners was great. One put the photos on his TV. It's cool. And for me as a hobby photographer to know that my photos are on someone's TV showing all day to families and friends is great. Yeah, I can relate to that. I did once, actually. Nervin and I were sitting in a cafe and doing the street sketches as we used to do on Saturdays, and then I posted it online, and the owner of the cafe was like, "Oh, that captures the environment around the cafe so well. Is there any way to get this picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I can, I don't know, scan it and make a print of it." He was like, "Yeah, but is there a way to like get the picture itself? Maybe like the original would be really cool." And I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care about it. Sure, it's just a straight sketch. And I mean, I didn't say that I don't care about it, but that was my thought process. I was like, all right, so it sounds fun. Like he said, yeah, I want to hang it in the cafe. And I was wondering, like, yeah, kind of, I don't really care much, but also just giving away your stuff to the first person who asks is, I don't know, felt kind of strange. But he said like, yeah, maybe how, like, do you like beer or wine or something? And I was like, yeah, I don't mind wine. He was like, yeah, then I can give you this bottle of French wine that we import locally. I was like, great exchange. Yeah, and then I went there and we had just really like nice small conversation, and he looked at the picture and was like, oh, it looks so cool, looks great, and just found the place for it, and now it's hanging in his cafe. So it's pretty cool. He was walking around there, the cafe, showing it to all his like customers. They're like, oh, look what I got, look what I got. It was really cute. Maybe I can find that picture. Just a second. Oh yeah, there it is. This one was the, I mean, can you see it? Yeah, it's on my Instagram. There is this like a little sketch that I did on the street of this thing, and then the owner liked it, so I can relate to that. Yeah, it's super nice to have your art hanging somewhere where people enjoy it, seeing it. Sammy says, but that's so important for artists. When I'm like low energy or creativity, I remember these moments. Yeah, I think as artists we tend to over dramatize a lot of stuff and feel down when everybody else would have just shrugged off and said like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter much. So it is important to keep those moments in mind. Let me add you on Insta. Your style is very nice. I like it a lot. Thanks, Sammy. I will remember this moment when I'm feeling low on energy. If I ever own a house, I will have you come over and draw it on my expense, of course. Sounds good. I will gladly do that. I think it's time now to add some shades with this just blue indigo on top of everything. I wonder which country your house will be in, because I was mostly drawing European houses, but one of the regular viewers earlier today, she left already, but she suggested to draw maybe some Asian architecture. Switzerland. Switzerland. Oh, that's also European. I can draw that. I have experience drawing European houses, but not much else. So Switzerland sounds doable. Where does the sun shine from? I think from maybe like this way. We have chalet. What's a chalet? Or is it chalet? I'm not great at French or Romanian. I didn't even know what language is that. Chalet. Chalet. Is it a deal? Oh, the mountain houses. Ooh. You have those? You're living in that thing? That's cool. It's like right in the mountains. I think mountains is. I wish I had one of these. Okay, when you have one of these, just let me know. I will come and draw it. We should do a vacation in those houses. Says Nevern. I like the mountains. I also and hike the mountains. Oh, yeah, hiking in the mountains is one of the best things. I don't know. I feel like mountains is probably my favorite type of landscape. Just kind of, I don't know, mentally, because I don't know. It's so always so much bigger than you are, and kind of puts you into perspective a little bit and helps to kind of exhale and think like, all right, well, this stuff is still standing here, so I guess all the crappiness that's going on isn't that bad after all. I can bring my camera and make photos of you drawing. Yeah, it's a collaboration project then. Sounds fun. Nature is very strong in the mountains. I love that. Yeah, that's, I think mountains and forests is one of the like these very powerful natural sites. But the problem with forests, first of all, I live in the Netherlands and it's kind of in the name of the country that it's flat and low and there are not that many forests around, and it's like forests are usually easier accessible for people, so you kind of either see more people there or see more signs of people, and I kind of like my nature pristine, humanless. Student, he says, and I can walk around and gather pigments from the mountains. Yeah, perfect. Let's do a stream from there as well to just have everything in the same place. First we need to go to the mountains, gather the pigments, make paint, and then paint Sammy's house and make pictures of it. Profit? And I can see the forest from my couch. Oof. You want forests? One word, Sweden. Yeah, I need to hurry up saving them. Yeah, if you can get the house within maybe maybe this summer, would be great. No pressure there, of course. Just maybe this summer would be good. Unless everyone is still on quarantine this summer. I know that here in the Netherlands all the festivals are closed for the summer. Who knows? We can go to Sweden afterwards or before. Oh yeah, we can go to Sweden first, pick up Studio NT and Pixel Props and Hawks, and Schmilicopter, she's also living there. And then just hang around there in the forest a little bit, and then go to Switzerland to paint the house. And we can actually paint the house itself in watercolors, like not the painting of a house, but painting the house. So next summer, due to the virus. Yeah, maybe not really weatherproof. We'll see what kind of pigments can Studio NT find. Maybe the pigments that she finds are truly water resistant. Just mix with oils instead and it should be fine. It's gonna dry for at least 15 years probably if you paint with oil paint, but it's probably gonna smell a lot. Depends on oil that you use, I guess. The pigments in themselves are waterproof. It more comes down to what binder to use. See, we have pros here. Yeah, these guys, they're experimenting with making their own paints, so they know some stuff. I am also now challenged by Studio NT to make my own watercolors, so there's that. I guess I will join the forces. I'm gonna try mixing some of my pigments with acrylic medium, so see how that works out. Doesn't that stink? Good questions. I think I need to add some watercolor to the water to make it the right color. I'm gonna make a little bit darker under the tree here. Oh wait, maybe that is what a pro is. Just someone who's experienced at guessing and tasting. Yeah, kinda. Sam don't want to be sued by neighbors. Why would it stink? Not if it's done right. that's what a pro would say. Yeah. I don't know, I think I've heard about oil paints that they can smell. Haven't heard about homemade watercolors that they smell, because I think they dry much quicker, so they don't really have a chance to stink that much. Wait, I will. It smells like paint, so that one is okay. Just adding some shadows here and there. I'm always so impressed by your sketches per sketchbook, and then you add the color and boom, it's 1000% more impressive. I personally, I do prefer sketches more, actually, I think. With watercolor, I only like the, not only, but I mostly like that it kind of separates the sketch from the page. And I think that's the 1000% that you're talking about, maybe. Do you make your own colors? I'm attempting it right now. Looks like from a fairy tale. Yeah, somehow most of these stream paintings look like from fairy tale. And I'm not a big fan of fairy tales. I don't know how is that coming together. Subconsciousness? That tree on the background also needs some love, I think. Send it to Disney. They might want to hire you. I don't think Disney works in watercolor though. I wouldn't mind doing some concepts. Because Pixel Prop says most fairy tales are set in historical settings, so they actually look like real life. That's smart. If you think about it, it's true, you know, like all the fairy tales, they start somewhere in the medieval setting. Let's add some of this green to the tree. Just to separate it a little bit more from the house, I guess. But at the same time, to add more volume to it. So I will mix some more blue, I guess. And I think with trees and all kind of natural stuff, you should do it wet on wet so the colors mix together better. The very old comics actually had watercolor backgrounds. Huh, didn't know that. Although I guess it makes sense, because when did the first comics appear? I can't imagine that it was in, like, I don't know, 1960s or 30s or something like that. It must be much earlier than that. I bet Romans had like some kind of comics as well. There should be like a Wikipedia page, the earliest comics in human history, or like the cave paintings. Do they count as comics? Every time I draw, I use my hand as like this tissue place, or I mean tissue paper. I use this place in my hand for that, and by the end I always have like this place covered in all sorts of paints. But it's much easier than having more stuff around it. It's just like get rid of leftover paint, boom, you're good to go. Let's add some of this stuff. Pixel Prop says, Yeah, fairy tales fairy tales is education to teach us things when we were kids, and there is no public schools. It's a way to hand down knowledge through generations and to try and explain how things works. How things work. Sounds about right to me. I always thought about them as, yeah, more kind of like as this educational things, but they often kind of um, surpass that. You know, like there are some, like in some fairy tales you don't know what is being taught, kind of. So they become more like legends and myths. I think some fairy tales come from that part as well. That is why many old stories has a moral to them. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Semi says 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs by Disney. Is it the first comic? Only in 1937? Seems so late, right? Like why wouldn't impressionists come up with comics? I mean, maybe it's a bit unfair to the impressionists, because why would they come up with comics? But they shook the ground of stuff, so maybe they could have also invented some comics. This is the first comic movie by Disney. Disney. The first comic movie. I kind of don't know what I'm doing right now, but I think my goal is to add some variation in color to this roof without painting all the details. Nervin says, did you know that Beauty and the Beast was to teach young girls about marriage, because at the first time it was arranged marriage. At this time it was arranged marriage, so young girls get married to older, hairy, ugly looking men, and it should show them that they're getting used to it. At least that's one rumor why it was told. So basically, like, it's to teach girls that when they grow up they will marry a beast, but it will be fine at the end. That's kind of sad if you think about it. I mean, it's like, hey, we know we're doing the wrong thing to you, but if we teach you from early enough age that it's okay, then it's okay, right? That's not how it should work. Just adding some more sunlight here. Don't know if it's actually sunlight color, but good enough. There are some comics from the first half of 19th century. It says pixel props. Yeah, that's what I would think. Like, should be earlier than our last century. With what I like about watercolors is that you can actually go over some parts later with some watercolors and just add some, you know, like, let's say the sunlight kind of thing, something like that. Even if he looks like a beast, but he will be nice and caring for you. Ah, I see. Though it was not the wrong thing in past times, it was how it was. Women had no rights and were considered the property of their father and then later their husband. Many women were sent to monasteries during the war too to keep them safe, says Sammy. Yeah, I guess, I mean, you can't really be angry at history, you know. If it was how it was, you know, like, yeah, it wasn't right, and maybe nowadays you think differently. I mean, some countries don't think differently and still keep insisting on this stuff, but you know, in general, you can only think that something is wrong after the thing. So, and when you have stuff to compare it with, which people in medieval ages didn't really have much comparison possibilities. Hey, Schmelicopter is back. Wow, you're still streaming. Looks super nice. I love the colors. Hey, thank you. Actually, colors are a little bit more saturated than they show up on the stream. Wonder why is that? What if I increase the saturation a little bit? Nope, let's not do this. Maybe something more like this. I think that's more correct colors now. And what can we do about it? We were not there, says Sammy. Yeah, and the problem is that if we were there, we would think that it's normal. You know, that's like the tricky part. It's always like you want to go back in time and change stuff, but if you imagine, you know, like you've been growing up in the same environment as people who come up with this stuff, you will be like, you would have the same mentality as them, and it would be okay for you, probably. It's the tricky part, I think. Have you drawn any bears, Schmelicopter? I remember you were drawing bears recently. Any more bears? Nervin says, glad it changed now, so I was able to choose my own beast. Thank you, darling. Yeah, I think it's changing for the better. It's not great yet, but it's at least going in some direction, more or less better than it used to be. Yeah, Schmelicopter, I kind of thought I would stream a little longer on Sundays, probably until like 1. So we have a few more minutes to stream, because I don't know, it feels like I can take more care with painting and I can actually finish the whole thing instead of finishing it later off stream, because then I can kind of immediately post it already and get done with this posting nonsense. Sammy says people behave different in these crisis situations. I mean, look at the toilet paper sales of the past months. Yeah, true. Also, I think the iPad switched off, so we lost our references. Alright, then we're back. Yeah, it's in crisis situations people behave differently. Like in, I guess, sending women to monasteries during war times is like that's okay, because I mean, not only women, I guess also like children and old people would be good, because I don't know, soldiers rape sometimes and do crazy shit and all that stuff, so Like in general, civilians are better off somewhere far from the war. Or toilet paper. Chuchu says, woohoo, hello, so pretty. When will you start your own series of postcards? That caught me off guard. I guess today. No, I don't know. It's thank you first of all, and welcome to the stream. Glad you joined us. And postcards, I don't know. It's been on my mind sometimes because I don't know. I think postcards are a good size for these kind of little things, but we'll see. There is something happening on the roof of my room. I think my neighbors are moving the chairs so they can sit in the sun. They have balcony that's right on top of my room. I'm just adding layers and layers of muddy blue until it looks right. That's my method. Add muddy blue until it works. But it actually kind of works now, I think. Is there anything missing? We have water as discussed, as promised. We have messiness. Maybe messiness could be a little bit higher than it is, but I mean, you have what you have, I guess. Kind of don't know what else to add to this one. Starting the series of postcards today sounds great. Yeah, doesn't it? I'm thinking about adding some more green in the background here. I bought this. Oh, it's so annoying. We with Nervan when we were in Tuscany bought this thing. I mean, I got myself an olive green, made in Italy, handmade kind of watercolor thing, in a special, like in the Florentine Ponte Vecchio extra fine watercolor thing, and then it's really bland. Like you need to have a lot of it on the paint to actually get some color. So unpigmented. It's a nice color, but you know, this is a little bit confusing. I will show you it in a second. Look, this thing is called olive green. Okay, there it is. This thing is also called olive green. Do you see my problem? I mean, I hope you can see it on the stream. One is like green, yellow, brownish, and another is just pale green. Both are olive greens. Chuchu says that there are a lot of postcards on sale everywhere, but beautiful and like fun ones, not so many. So maybe that's actually a good business idea. I will look into that, Chucha. Maybe it's not as hard as I think, and then I can actually do watercolor postcards. Studio NT says, was it Terravente? This one? No, it's called Zeki. Zechi? Don't know. I think that pigment is fairly weak if I remember correctly, and I can be totally wrong. Don't know, it's really faint pigment in this one, but it's very good pigment in my Rembrandt little tube, this one. It's also olive green, but it's so much more saturated and juicy. I guess it depends on the olive. Yeah, I guess so. You can have black olives and then it's a different color altogether. Student, he says, do you have the pigment information of both of the olive green? No, unfortunately this one was just sold like this. Oh no, wait, it does have something in it. It says it's EUH. Oh, you can see it because it's not auto-focusing. Wait, configure video. Camera control, focus, auto. All right. All right, so it's made in Italy and it has this thing in it, which has a really long name. EUH208 Contiere. Anyway, yeah, and this is just Rembrandt pigment, olive green. It says the pigment, there are 3 pigments, PG7, PY150 and PV19. I didn't know what all of that means, but there you go. Depends on the olive. I like that one. Student, he says, even though they both have the same name, olive green, different pigments can have been used. Thanks, I'll Google it. Yeah, I didn't, never thought about looking at the package and actually Googling what are those pigments, but because I'm kind of not that experienced in it, I guess, but to me it was like, oh, those are such kind of common names of all the pigments and all this stuff, so it must be the same, you know, otherwise how can artists communicate if they speak all different languages, you know? Like if one artist says, hey, I need olive green, and it turns out something completely different, how can you teach art if you're, or maybe not art but color theory? Trying to make bread color, but all my bright watercolors are really dirty, so I kind of have to be super careful with this. I've been nerding pigments so much the last week, so my brain is filled with it. Nerding, pigment nerd. Yeah, I will also probably start nerding a little bit since you challenged me to do some watercolors. Alright, actually I don't really know what else to add to this one, and it's almost 1. So David Fink says, have any recommendations for beginner watercolors? I'm not good with water. Yeah, welcome to the stream first of all. Hey Sammy, I have to go for lunch, see you later, or have a lovely day. Hey, have a good lunch and a nice day. See you next stream, maybe. White Knights for beginners are really good. You have a good set there usually. Nervin, who probably is also on the stream, has experience with other watercolors that maybe she can share. But in general, you know, like how I always get confused with big sets. So I went to the art store and I bought myself 4 tubes of watercolor. At least 4 actually. And yeah, I think it's these 4. I got myself basically like the kind of primary colors and the green. So this is raw sienna, indigo, and some kind of red, doesn't really matter which. And then the next basically 2 years I've been only using these 4 watercolors, because I also been using this thing for them. So I had basically 4 watercolors here, and then I just mix them in between, and I could basically accomplish everything I have on Instagram with just these 4 colors. So you don't need many, but with having only 4, it helps you kind of learn how they mix well, at least in my head. Because with big sets, it's always like, oh, should I pick this color? Should I pick this shade of yellow, this shade of green, or kind of like what shade of what? But in general, it's just you put these 4 colors on your palette, and then you take one color, you mix some other color in between. Sometimes you wash your brush, but sometimes not, and then you just say, okay, this gives me this color, but if I mix in some green there, because there is a green tree standing next to it, then it will change a little bit. And then you say, okay, I have this tree here standing, but it's dark at the bottom, so I will need a little bit of blue, because there is, you have such a limited palette that you can't really go wrong here. If you want some warm, you add some yellow or green. If you need some cold, you add some blue. That's how you get the shadow, because you only have this is the darkest color that you can use for the shadow, so you'll just use that one. And in my experience, I'm just talking from my experience, that's been really fun. Sometimes it's challenging to find the right color, but in general it's just super fun. And it's actually kind of easy to not get lost there, because you only have so many. But some people really enjoy having a specific set of watercolors. You're welcome. Hope that helps. But yeah, you're welcome to ask more questions if you have any, and join in on the streams. Maybe we can paint something together. And speaking of the brand, I have Rembrandt and Van Gogh here, and I've been happy with both of them, and they're one of the cheaper ones compared to Winsor and Newton or whatever the other, the Sennelier and all that stuff. Nimla says, wow, this painting turned out so nice. Hey, thank you for following, David Fink. Yeah, it turned out alright. I like the general mood of it, but I don't think I will add anything else, so I guess I will add a little bit more, because this stuff should be in shadow. And I add shadows really in a really dumb but easy way. You just take your indigo you water it down and you just blob it on top of whatever you need to be in the shadow. Maybe you wash your brush a little bit and like make the borders a little bit more subtle, but in general, ta-da, shadow. Easy. Just we'll try to separate it a little bit better. Don't know why I'm adding redwood to this house now. Doesn't make any sense. And then Nervin says Van Gogh has also kind of cheap pre-made palettes around 20 euro. Guess those can be a nice start. I also like the quality, but I'm a beginner myself. But you have tested, Nervin, you have tested different ones. You also have the White Knights that Studio and T also recommended. Studio D says, I use a mix of different brands, but so far the paints from Daniel Smith are my favorites. They're expensive, but really, really good quality. And they actually have a set with small tubes with 6 primary colors that is fairly affordable if you want to go for some high-end paints. I haven't tried Daniel Smith myself, because when I see that one tube costs 10 euro, I'm just taking out my shovel and going to the nearby forest to dig out some dirt to make my own stuff. No, but in general, like I haven't tried it myself, but I've heard it's good. For some people it's too expensive, but I never heard that it's, you know, like overpriced or anything, so I guess it's worth the money. But I've been kind of quite happy with the stuff I have. Decided to add this little reflection here. I guess it works kind of a little bit. Naren says, I have the Sonnet palette. Oh, Sonnet. Yeah, from White Knights, right? I think they're the student grade from the White Knights, and I love them. I love the color variety. They're super pigmented and mix well. Yeah, they're really, really strong. But again, like this, as my take on that is just go simple and then go from there. You know, like if you start with 4-6 watercolors, then you can expand on that. Would either suggest though, or the Van Gogh has cheap and good options. Was extremely lucky and had Twitch friends that donated a bunch of money, and in that way sponsoring me to be able to buy some Daniel Smith and Sanillier. Ah, I see. Yeah, that's really cool. But for the beginner, you know, like I wouldn't recommend Daniel Smith because you spend a lot of money and you're still learning, so you just spend a lot of paint on stuff you will throw away because, you know, you're not happy with it or it doesn't work out or whatnot. Also bought some Rembrandt and Sennelier, but as a beginner, other than they're more expensive, I cannot see any difference. They are not for the beginners that are testing if they like watercolors or not. Yeah, if you have some experience, sure. I guess if you're a beginner, just start anywhere, kind of. For example, why not start next week on this stream? Because I think we're done for today. It's been really fun, guys. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for all your questions and suggestions and everything. Don't forget, if you post anything, if you drew anything along, just don't forget to post it on Instagram, and you can tag me there, and then I can share your stuff as well. So wish you all a good day. Maybe I will stream during the week a little bit more. And have a good day and a week and everything. See you later, guys. Bye bye.